Never met a tax cut I didn't like. Anyway, enough for me. Joining us now, we are very honored to have the Speaker of the House, Mr. Mike Johnson. Mr. Speaker, thank you, sir. Your initial reaction to this speech in the Rose Garden today?
It was a great event in the Rose Garden. The president delivered a message that I think comports with common sense. I mean, I agree with you, Larry. I think that chart was very effective. What he did was use that to illustrate this huge disparity that we have in America. When he says Liberation Day, he is sending a clear message to the world. America is not going to be exploited anymore by unfair trade practices. We had a $1.2 trillion trade deficit in 2024. It's not fair to America. So this is what he's doing now, is going to do a level set for American workers and job creators and innovators and entrepreneurs and everybody who tries to make this economy work. It's going to work better, I think, and this is a key to getting that done.
Mr. Speaker, I agree with you, and I liked his speech today in the Rose Garden, and I especially liked him showing the numbers, because I think Americans like to see that, you know, there's some scientific basis to all this. But unfortunately, the stock market is disagreeing with both of us, down 1,100 points in aftermarket trading. What you think of that?
Well, look, I think this is going to have to settle out. We knew this would be disruptive out of the gates, a little, in the beginning it would be rocky road. The president himself said that, because people don't know how to react to this. We've been unfairly treated for so long. The president made a good point in the Rose Garden. He said no previous president really has had the guts to stand up and do what must be done to fix this disparity. So we would expect the stock market to react in the way it is, but I think it will settle out. What I think is going to happen here is that the reciprocal trade policy, he calls it the fair reciprocal trade policy, right? We're not even going to do to other countries what they're doing to us, but we're going to try to make that more even. I think what it will do is open up the negotiating table. I think these other countries, leaders from these other countries, allies, and others who trade with us are going to come to the table and say, okay, we'll reduce our import tariffs on America's and Americans' goods, and then we'll make this more fair. You can't have free trade unless you have fair trade. Ronald Reagan used to make that point, and Donald Trump is making it, and now he's acting upon it, and I think the time has come for this action.
So, Mr. Speaker, actually, maybe we can play it. He had a little riff today about the House and the Senate and the one big beautiful bill, speaking of remedies on the domestic side. We got some sound on that. If you'd take a listen, please, sir.
But Speaker of the House Mike Johnson and Senate Majority Leader, appreciate it, Mike, John Thune have been fantastic, by the way. But they've been working tirelessly on taking the next step to pass the plan for our one big, beautiful bill. And it will be that. It'll have everything, the big tax cuts and every incentive there is. So we need to get our shared priorities done, including certain permanent tax cuts. We want the tax cuts to be permanent, spending cuts, energy and historic investments in defense, border. Oh, look at all of our senators over there. Oh, boy, that's a nice group of people. But I won't like them so much if they don't get this bill done.
That's fantastic. You won't like him so much if you don't get this bill done. So he laid out this is a very important part of the speech. Probably no one's going to report on it except a few of us. Everyone's obsessing about the tariffs. But it's a big, beautiful economic growth plan. How's the House doing? I mean, the Senate seems to be moving, but tax cuts haven't been permanent yet in the House, as I understand it. The current policy baseline hasn't yet been embraced. I don't know. Mr. Speaker, give us an update, if you would, please.
Well, here's the latest update. I met just yesterday. We had what we call the Big Six meeting. So it's myself and Leader Thune in the Senate, and we had Secretary Bessent there, the Treasury Secretary, Kevin Hassett from NEC, and our top lieutenants, Senator Crapo and Jason Smith, who's the chair of the Ways and Means Committee in the House, talking through the big, beautiful bill, this reconciliation package that we're putting together. The Senate took important action today. They moved a resolution through the Senate to kick it back over to the House so that we can begin to align the House and the Senate on our big priorities. I can tell you, the Republicans in the House and Senate are completely united on this mission. We must accomplish the mission, Larry, because the big, beautiful bill is going to get the economy rocket-fueled again. I mean, this is how we're going to get the economy going. It's going to settle the bond markets and the stock market, I believe, because it will show that Congress is serious about reducing debt and the deficits. But also, the reason it'll be rocket fuel to the economy is because all the elements of it. We're going to do American energy dominance again. We're going to secure the border and do those basic things we promised on the campaign trail. But also, we're going to ensure we don't have the largest tax increase in U.S. history. And allowing job creators and entrepreneurs and risk takers and companies to know what their tax rate is going forward is a really important part of that. They need stability. They need this to be settled. And so we'll get that done, and we'll get it done quickly. My timetable is try to get it done by Memorial Day so the president can sign it into law as soon as possible, because I think this is going to be the solution to a lot that what is ailing the economy right now.
I love that, Memorial Day. But, Mr. Speaker, let me tread lightly on this, but if you have an extra $500 or $600 billion a year from these customs duties, these tariffs coming in, why not use it to cut taxes even more, sir? Middle income taxes, capital gains taxes, payroll taxes. You'll have the ammo, and it would be very important to offset any, shall we say, near-term tariff difficulties. What do you think about that?
Well, listen, I'm with you. I'm from the Kudlow school. I've never seen a tax reduction I didn't like, okay? And there's going to be a lot of it. There's going to be a lot of it, Professor, in this bill, okay? Because the president has promised, of course, no tax on tips, overtime, Social Security, no tax on interest on car loans if they're made in the U.S. So there's going to be a lot in here for everyone, and rates will be low. But we also, at the same time, we've got to be serious about debt reduction. And you and I both know that's really the greatest national security risk that we have is our debt. There was a Moody's report that came out, I think, in the last few days, and it estimates that within a 9-year window, we'll be spending 30% of our federal receipts on the interest on the debt alone if we don't reverse the curse. And so we're serious about that, and we're going to do debt reduction in this as well. So we've got to pay down the $36 trillion in debt we have right now while we spur on economic growth. I think we can do both, and that's the mission ahead of us.
Well, I hear you on that. I would just suggest you cut taxes even more, tax rates, corporate tax rates, individual tax rates, maybe the payroll tax, with these customs duties, the tariff revenues. If you did that, Ms. Speaker, you grow the economy really 3.5%, maybe 4%, and the debt share of GDP would come down. In other words, the debt burden as a share of the economy comes down without retiring debt necessarily, but economic growth will push it on. I don't want to obsess about it. Maybe you'll think about that. Let me just ask you.
No, I do. I dream about it, Larry. You're exactly right. And look, I think getting to a 4% growth rate is conceivable. Remember, we also have these extraordinary cuts that are being found by DOGE and the effort that's going on simultaneous with all this. So, I mean, Elon still thinks he can find $1 trillion in savings in fraud, waste, and abuse alone. That is huge to our budgeting and appropriations processes going forward. So, look, I think all this is right. I think you're onto something, and that's what we're trying to achieve. One
more, Mr. Speaker. You won a couple of Florida House seats yesterday. Congratulations. I believe your margin is now up to 7. We didn't get the judge in Wisconsin, but voters in Wisconsin did vote in favor of an ID voter bill, which I think was very important. So I'd say you had a pretty good day yesterday.
We had a great day. The president called me at about 11:30 p.m. last night and said, Mike, we won it. We did great. And he's exactly right. We're going to keep this momentum going. We just gave the oath, administered the oath to those 2 new members from Florida, Randy Fine and Jimmy Perchonis. They're going to be great. They're going to come here and help us make history. That's what's going to happen, Larry. Great days ahead of us.
Mr. Speaker, you are very kind to give us your time. We appreciate it, and we appreciate your wisdom. Thanks again, sir.
You too, my friend. Thank you.